to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the great deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned, and welcome to Kelly Justine 55, who says, good morning, first time here. Thank you, Kelly Justine 55. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you stick around and enjoy it. Make sure you're subscribed to rumble.com/LFA TV. And that goes for anybody who's here for the first time, because I know she's not the only one. I'm not the only one.
The Creed?
No. Oh. That would be Stained. Well, Aaron Lewis, who was the lead singer of Stained. It's been a while.
Yes.
All right. First and foremost, look, I got to get something really, really quick out of the way. Not because it's a bad thing, actually because it's a great thing. I know there's a pinned message. Somebody pinned it up there. Morning, first time here, Kelly Justine 55. Hey, everybody give Kelly a follow. Everybody give this channel a follow. There you go. Welcome. We're happy to see you here. I was happy to be able to pick that out of the chat this morning. So for those of you who don't know, on Saturday mornings, Jeremy Harrell and I, we host a show now called The Rumble Rundown, which is a sports show. I know sports is not something that everybody likes right now. It's not what they want from me, and I went on a nice little Jets rant last night or yesterday afternoon. I just put on my Jets gear and ripped Woody Johnson a new one. I figured, why not? Because he's the worst owner. But anyway, we'll get to my feelings on Woody and the Jets and all this weekend on the Rumble Rundown, Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. It's from 9 to 11. But I want to say a quick thank you to the great Pete Santilli for sending us these cool mugs, these Rumble Rundown mugs. Very excited to use this thing on Saturday. And hopefully I don't chuck it at my television while watching the Jet game, because it's just going to create a mess, right? We don't want to do that. So thank you to Pete.
Hey, Pete, make yourself useful. Make some T-shirts.
Yeah, I think he's working on some stuff like that. We got our package in yesterday, and Brennan's like, "Who is Pistol Pete?" And I was like, it's either Pete Hegseth or Pete Santilli. And I don't think it's Pete Hegseth. So we got this and a tumbler, Rumble Rundown. Really cool. Look at the backside of this here. Making sports commentary great again, which is exactly what we're doing. It's been a lot of fun. And nice Rumble Rundown logo. This clean, beautiful mug. So there it is. Pete in the chat says T-shirts are being made now.
Attaboy.
So there it is.
Attaboy.
BP Bernie. Bernie, no. He said, I joined Rumble to follow. Okay, very good. Thank you, BP Bernie. I know you're not Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders doesn't follow the show, or maybe he does, to laugh at my rendition, and Jeremy does a good Bernie too. So there you go. Welcome to the chat to everybody. Look, here we go. Let's put the chat on the screen real quick. I joined Rumble to follow. You had Kelly Justine 55 here for the first time. So it's a good time for everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Ungoverned. We're going to talk a lot about, look, we haven't done one of these shows in a while. We're going to go through a bunch of illegal aliens who have been deported. Does that sound like fun to everybody today? Who wants to talk about some bad hombres today?
Ooh, I do.
Brennan's like, let's talk about some.
You
know what? You had to do it. By the way, you had to do it. So, all right, if you want to do a woo-ya, then we'll do a little.
Everybody, woo-ya.
We got to get a new soundboard, or that really trippy thing that Hannah has, where it's got a built-in soundboard.
We need that thing for sure.
That thing looks like it's something that could launch this house into outer space.
We know where your office is, Hannah.
Yeah, well, if it's missing, it wasn't us. I promise you.
Just look the other way.
There's gonna be a showdown. Look the other way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as Jeremy pinned in the chat there, the link to the last episode of the Rumble Rundown. We racked up, over 150,000 views on that episode. So sports is hot, folks. If you want to be a part of it, it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty. It's all right. It's okay to like sports again. Check it out. Rumble Rundown Saturdays at 9 a.m. here on LFA TV, right on LFA TV. So you don't even have to subscribe to a new channel. Just check us out there. All right. We're going to talk about illegals. We're going to talk about more illegals. We're going to talk about more illegals. John Brennan is back in the news as well. And I'm going to call it out now. We're going to revisit it towards the end of the show. And I understand why this is happening. And I get it that, and I'm not saying everybody who's doing this is engaged in this. And I don't even know if this is what's going on, but it just feels like it to me. Okay? I want to go 30,000 feet here, New York City. Okay, Zoran Mamdani. You know I've been saying it since June. A lot of people don't like when I say it, but I think he's going to win. I think that the chances are overwhelming that Zoran Mamdani is going to win the New York City mayoral election. Okay? It just, because you know the way I've characterized and talked about how it works in New York City. You can have a pair of musty gym socks that wins the Democrat primary, and that candidate will win the mayoral election in the current electorate that composes New York City. I don't care about what happened in 2000. I don't care about what happened in 2010. Today, in 2025, that is the way the city is. That is not me telling you to stop fighting. That is not me telling you to stop campaigning. That is not me telling you to just give up, throw your hands in the air, and stay home. No, I want everybody in New York City to participate in this mayoral election, okay? Because unless you try to score points, you're not going to score points, right? And then even in the case of the New York Jets, even when they do try to score points, they still don't score points. But again, that's for Saturday morning. That's not for this morning. I understand many people who say Cuomo is not as bad as a jihadist. You're right. Okay? He's not as bad as a jihadist. He's not. Zoran Mamdani is going to be probably the worst thing that has ever happened in New York City since 9/11. And I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I genuinely believe that. Andrew Cuomo is not as bad as a jihadist. I lived through Andrew Cuomo as the governor of New York. He was really bad. He was not as bad as a jihadist. However, I find it sort of gross. And I know we want to try and coalesce and get people to overpower and outnumber the amount of votes that Zoran Mamdani is inevitably going to get. Okay? I think we take it a step too far when conservatives, right? When conservatives who not too long ago were persecuted and targeted and abused and oppressed and had our necks stepped on by people like Andrew Cuomo, I think it's too much to see folks on the so-called right endorsing Andrew Cuomo. I'm not saying that we can't say that Andrew Cuomo is the lesser of two evils between himself and Zoran Mamdani. We know that. I know that. I've said that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. When you are out there urging people to abandon Curtis Sliwa and vote for Cuomo because Cuomo's the only guy who could win or anything like that, I think that's too far. Now, you may disagree with me, and you may say, it doesn't matter, we have to stop Islam at all costs. And I don't disagree with that either, right? Like, I don't want to see a Muslim running New York City. I don't. Okay, so I want to be very clear about that. But I'll tell you what I think is going on, and it's a shame. There are these groups, and again, what I think, I have no proof, and I'm not naming names for this reason because I have no proof that this is happening. This is just what it looks like over the last couple days. Okay? You have these groups. You saw, remember a couple months ago when like Big Soda was getting influencers to post about, government overreach and the SNAP benefits and the big beautiful bill and all that crap. Remember that? I have a feeling that something like that is going on again because for some reason, like yesterday and the day before, a ton of right-wing people who would belong to an influencer group like that all of a sudden started telling people, vote for Cuomo, vote for Cuomo, vote for Cuomo. And I don't think they came up with that idea by themselves. And most notably, it's a bunch of people who never lived in New York. So they don't actually know anything about Andrew Cuomo except what they may have heard about him during the COVID years. So I think it is more than likely that at some level, there is a paid campaign that are getting quote unquote influencers to post in support of voting for Andrew Cuomo. Here's my advice to New York City and anybody who's living in New York City. Okay? Vote for whoever it is that most closely aligns with your values. If I lived in New York City, and I never lived in New York City, but I was in the city a lot, especially at a younger age, I'm familiar with the city, but I never got a chance to vote for mayor because I never lived in New York City. If you live in New York City, vote for whoever most closely aligns with your values. That's number one, okay? If it was me and I was in New York City, I would be voting for Curtis Sliwa. But Sean Curtis can't win. Okay, neither can Cuomo, all right? Why? It's not because the Muslim Marxists of Manhattan, as our friend Michael Patrick Leahy says, right? It's not that the Muslim Marxist of Manhattan, Zohran Mamdani, is some otherworldly amazing candidate. It's the dynamic at play, right? That anything that runs as a Democrat in New York City as mayor is going to win, unless something unthinkable happens. You may say, oh, well, maybe we should force Cuomo to drop out. Cuomo's not going to drop out. He's never going to endorse Curtis Sliwa. He's never going to do that. And then you're going to get all these center-leaning or centrist left-leaning Democrats in New York City that are not going to vote for Sliwa. Those votes are probably just going to go to Mamdani. If the reverse happens and Curtis Sliwa drops out and endorses Andrew Cuomo, you'd be lucky if half of those Sliwa voters, you'd be lucky if half of them, which isn't enough, pull the lever for Andrew Cuomo. Unless you're from New York, you don't understand what that guy did to us when we were there. You just don't. And I'm not saying that making that decision, or ego over, the long-term vision. I'm not saying it's right one way or the other. I'm saying there is a dynamic at play, and this is the dynamic. There are Republican voters in New York City that will never, ever, 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 ever vote for Andrew Cuomo, no matter what the circumstances are. So my final word of advice to you in New York City, and we'll revisit this later in the show if we have a chance. My final word of advice is leave the chips on the, leave it all on the field. Let the chips fall where they may. If Curtis Sliwa more closely aligns with your values, then you vote for Curtis Sliwa. If you think Andrew Cuomo more closely aligns with your values, then you vote for Andrew Cuomo, okay? But if you truly believe that this is an existential crisis for New York City, then while you're doing that, while you're campaigning, while you're mounting this valiant resistance to Zohran Mamdani, I would also look at places to move.
Yep. The song comes to mind by JoJo. That Get Out Right Now. That one's the end of you
and me. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
See, he knows it because I listen to it a lot.
I'll tell you, it's not easy, but I've done it. Not from New York City, but I've done it. Okay. Brennan was there. We did it.
Oh, we did it.
We got out of New York. It's not easy. It's not something anybody really wants to do. If you're one of these folks in New York City, you love that place, and it is a city worth loving. But the current dynamic is making it not a city worth loving. So I would just say this to you. Prepare for the worst. Okay? Pray for the best. But have a plan B. And for a lot of people, plan B is going to be getting out. And I don't blame anybody for doing that. So
you're not a failure for wanting a better life. Like,
no.
People tried to make us feel really bad for leaving. Like,
we're like,
you're quitting.
You're quitter.
No,
quitting.
We literally just saw a better life for ourselves somewhere else, and we took it.
Boy, have we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Holy
it's
cow.
okay. Don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're giving up. Don't feel like you're a failure.
And if you, by the way,
make you feel bad.
And if you genuinely want to stay and fight in New York, then more power to you. Yeah. I mean, absolutely keep fighting. I'm just saying, if you're in the city and you think that Mamdani is going to really negatively impact your life, you're probably right. He's probably going to win. You should probably start taking some action to guard against and hedge against that. That's all I'm saying. I am just a little, and maybe it's because we've had run-ins with Andrew Cuomo and he targeted us and it was terrible in New York. I am sick to my stomach looking at conservative, quote-unquote, influencers posting about go vote for him, vote for Cuomo. And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. Now, I don't know if they're getting paid or not. I have no idea. It looks to me like there is some sort of on switch. Now, everybody's doing it. I don't know. I will say this, though. If you know anybody who is a part of those influencer groups that run these campaigns, and I don't really see, there's nothing wrong with those campaigns, but if you are selling out your values to post something, then it's something wrong with you. I don't really have an issue with these influencer firms either. It's marketing now, right? If you know anybody who's a part of this, or maybe you're a part of this yourself and you see that option for a paid campaign, send me a DM on X, at Sean_Farish. I want to expose some people if that's what's going on. Okay? So, because that one hits home for me with Cuomo. If you didn't live in New York during his reign as governor, the father of cashless bail, you just don't understand. And I'm not trying to say, you can't have an opinion. You can absolutely have an opinion, but you will never. When I tell stories about how New York was here in Tennessee, the rules during COVID, people look at me like I'm lying. And I'm like, no. And then usually in every room that I'm speaking to where I tell that story, somebody goes, I'm from New York and everything he said was true. So that's just that. We'll revisit that later. We're going to talk about illegals in a minute. Before we do that, hey, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about our friends over at OFP Farms. They could use your support right now. It is October. I got exciting news from the farm. 20% off, 20, not 15, 20% off right now with the code Sean, SHAWN, during their end of October sale. Spooky. If you're interested in stocking up on America's favorite soap, do not hesitate to explore this special offer. Take a moment to browse the fantastic selection from OFP Farms, renowned for its natural ingredients, the skin-nourishing benefits of tallow and goat milk, and a heartfelt commitment to farm-to-family skincare. Whether you seek gentle skincare solutions or thoughtful gifts, OFP Farms products combine expert care with strong values, enhancing your daily routine. Do not let this opportunity pass. Enjoy premium products that support your health and ethical choices for your entire family. Use the code Sean at checkout, SHAWN, to get 20, not 15, 20% off at OFPFarms.com. OFPFarms.com. Look, you know what you guys did? You made them sell out of the Outlaw soap. All you apparently want to smell like felons. You can get the Revolution soap and so many other products that are on OFPFarms.com. So again, OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 20% off of your entire order. This offer ends on Halloween. Spooky. Go grab your trick or treats. There's no tricks, only treats at OFPFarms.com. That's Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com, OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean for 20% off. All right. Let's get right into it. Rumble Rundown mug. I love it. It's great. The great Pete Santilli making quality products over there. Pistol Pete himself doing an amazing job. We love this mug. I love the tumbler that we got as well. 51 illegals have been arrested in Portland. Everybody, ahoo, yeah. Yes, ahoo, yeah. All right, 51 illegals arrested in Portland amid ongoing Antifa-linked protests. It's always funny. It's always funny when Antifa's like, we're going to protest ICE. We're going to protest ICE. And then they come out and it's like ICE is finding illegals while they're being protested. It's just like, oh, you're bringing the illegals to us. Hilarious. So 51 that's a lot. Yeah. Criminal illegal aliens in Portland amid ongoing Antifa-linked protests. The operation targeted illegal immigrants with extensive criminal histories, such as sexual assault, child abuse, domestic violence, drug trafficking, and manslaughter, which I always thought was a very weird word, manslaughter, because it could look like man's laughter, which I don't like.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Federal immigration authorities arrested 51 illegal immigrants during a joint weekend immigration enforcement operation in Portland, Oregon, which targeted subjects with extensive criminal histories such as sexual assault, child abuse, domestic violence, drug trafficking, and manslaughter, according to authorities. The arrests come as U.S. immigration and customs enforcement operations and raids are set to increase in the self-declared sanctuary city amid ongoing unlawful demonstrations at the South Portland ICE facility, according to DHS sources. The ICE facility has been under siege by Antifa-affiliated anarchists and similar-minded protesters since early June, with the support of elected Democrat city and state officials. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks announced the results of the operation in a Tuesday post on X. Portland U.S. BP Special Operations Group, in coordination with OFO, SRT, and loading, ICE, apprehended. I learned that trick from Andrew Wilkow when he's loading pages on his thing and it doesn't pop up. He just goes loading. It's great. Yeah. 51 illegal aliens with extensive criminal histories. Now in ICE custody, the group includes foreign nationals from, you ready for these countries? Mexico, Venezuela, Guatemala, Honduras, China, Peru, Nicaragua, Colombia, Israel. Ah, there it is. Must be the Jews. That's it. Israel. Uh-oh. Somebody tell Candace Owens. They're gonna. You know what she's gonna say? You know what people will say if they hear that? They'll go, "Isn't illegal aliens from Israel crossed over the southern border," while subsequently forgetting about Venezuela, Guatemala, Honduras, China, Peru, Nicaragua, Colombia, Georgia, Egypt, Kyrgyzstan, and Tanzania.
I have to correct you on one.
What happened? What happened? What'd I do?
The illegals from China are actually called Uyghurs.
Did you hear my racist wife? That's actually really funny. She said the illegals from China are called Uyghurs.
I couldn't even get it out. I'm crying now.
Yeah, she's crying. Uyghur. That's like that video you sent. They teach our children how to be homosexual and transgender. Yeah, very important to me. All right. So these illegals, these Uyghurs, come from Mexico, Venezuela, Guatemala, Honduras, China, Peru, Nicaragua, Colombia, Israel, Georgia, Egypt, Kyrgyzstan, and Tanzania. The only ones, of course, that the woke right care about are the ones from Israel. But that's a lot of countries.
Yeah.
And a lot of those countries want us dead or conquered. 51 illegal aliens arrested in Portland, right? So what are we learning here? These sanctuary cities, these protests, not too good though. If you think about their goal is to protest ICE. Meanwhile, you got these illegals that are being arrested like right in their protests. President Trump has since ordered the National Guard to be deployed to Portland to the ICE facility, describing the protesters as terrorists and vowing to put an end to their unlawful behavior, which the president said would not be under his administration. Yesterday, we reported on it briefly. An appeals court allowed Donald Trump to deploy the National Guard to Oregon as long as, once again, lawfully under Title X, they are defending federal property. I mean, the more they want to sue, the more precedent they're getting set against them. So they're eventually going to not be able to sue anymore because there's existing case law that basically would make their lawsuits frivolous. I want to get to this one, too. Nearly 500,000, almost 500,000. That's 480,000 illegal aliens have been arrested by the Department of Homeland Security since the beginning of Trump's term. I get it. It's not as many as we want. But what is the motto that we use? We say worst first, rest next, right? Yeah. So over 480,000 illegal aliens have been arrested by the Department of Homeland Security since the Trump administration has been sworn in, and 70% of them have prior criminal charges. Kristi Noem said that since January, the Department of Homeland Security has arrested over 480,000 criminal illegal aliens. 70% of them have criminal charges against them or have been convicted of those criminal charges. The Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, announced on Monday that in the first 9 months of the Trump administration, her department has made nearly 500,000 arrests of illegal aliens, the majority of which have criminal and charges and or convictions. Across the country are making communities safer so that families can thrive and that they can prosper and they can enjoy the kind of freedom that this country was established to provide. Noem cited a recent Harvard-Harris poll during her Monday address, which found that 78% of Americans support deporting illegal immigrants who have committed crimes, and 56% of Americans support deporting all migrants in the U.S. illegally. Now, 78% say deport any of the illegals who have committed crimes. If you came into this country illegally, you committed a crime. I don't care what Don Lemon says. If you came into this country illegally, you committed a crime the day you crossed that border, right? Because there is a law that says you're not allowed to do that. If you go ahead and do that, you are violating that law. Don Lemon says, well, it's just a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor is still a crime. Why don't you go ahead and get convicted of a misdemeanor and tell me what happens to you? You may go to jail. You may have to pay a hefty fine. It stays on your record. right? He's like, it's not a crime. It's a misdemeanor. Remember this? Here, this is that nonsense.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. It's a
Okay.
misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that actually...
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out, especially when he promised to deport the criminals, and now he's not doing that?
Yeah, I don't think we're going...
Misdemeanor is not a crime. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not
It's
a
not
crime?
a criminal act, no. If you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal
why
act.
get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
It's just
we have
different
we
levels.
have different levels of. No, I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
It's
No,
breaking the law, but it's
you're
just
not
a
breaking the
different
law.
level
A
of
misdemeanor is not
crime.
breaking the law.
No.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no,
It's a
if you're
misdemeanor.
speeding, is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
So it's still.
I can't take it. I can't take it. Good question from Dawn Biz in the chat. How bad do you think it will get out here in Suffolk County? I will tell you this, and Will Cow's been saying this as well. If you're a real estate agent on Long Island right now, you're going to kill it. You're absolutely going to crush it in the real estate game after Mamdani wins the election. You are going to get so many people who are going to move out of New York City and move to Long Island to avoid Mamdani and his taxes. So you may get an influx of lefties. You also may get an influx of conservatives that leave, and that city is just going to become a socialist hellhole. I don't know if the crime problem is going to be so bad out on Long Island. And I'll tell you what I think the New York State Republican Party is going to do, and even the National Republican Party to an extent when it comes to New York City. They want Zohran Mamdani to win, okay, so that they can use him as a target and use him as a punching bag in the 2026 gubernatorial race in New York with Elise Stefanik. They definitely want Mamdani to win. Then she's going to run as somebody who can, checks and balances and keep him in line and make sure that it doesn't get worse. Now, if somebody like that would win, if Kathy Hochul won re-election as governor, well, now you're talking about something that can get real bad statewide. Don Lemon says that crossing the border illegally is a crime, but isn't actually a crime. Actually, I want to get to the end of that clip for a second because of the whole thing about breaking the rules.
To come
Is
over
there a
legally.
law?
Is there a law?
There are rules that are processes that you should follow. Yeah, so you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
So what happens when you break the rules?
Then you suffer the consequences. But the consequences should not. Look, no one is saying no one should suffer the consequences. You guys are getting things mixed up.
They're not the ones getting things mixed up. You mixed yourself up. In about a minute and 40 seconds, Don Lemon turned himself into a pretzel.
Yeah, he contradicted himself.
He was like, they're not laws, they're rules, but they're rules, but they're laws, but there's different levels of crime. But misdemeanor is not a crime, even though it is a crime, even though it isn't a crime, because it's not a crime, because it is a crime, because it's the rule, not the law. What the hell? I don't even know how I did that.
If you keep people in confusion, they're easier to control.
He was like playing ping pong with himself. He was like Serena Williams, playing tennis. All right. So, the point of playing that clip and the point of citing that poll from Harvard-Harris, 78% of Americans believe that illegal aliens should be deported if they committed a crime. They all committed a crime if they came here illegally. In other words, entered the country illegally. Now, where I think Don Lemon may have been getting confused is that let's say you have a visa and you overstay that visa. That is a civil violation. I think the first offense is a civil violation. So that is not technically a criminal violation, right? But that's not the type of people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the folks that came across the southern border illegally outside of a port of entry and just decided that they are in the country now and that's where they're going to be. Those people are illegal aliens, and 100% of those people who entered our country illegally are criminals. That cannot be disputed. 100% of those who entered our country illegally are criminals. All right. On the other side, I want to get to a story out of Los Angeles regarding illegal aliens and a story out of Idaho regarding illegal aliens. Before we do that, you know what time it is? It's time to talk about my favorite people, my favorite bank, a new sponsor of the show. You down with OGB? Yeah, you know me. This is your favorite president. This is your favorite president. Everybody knows about it, right? Everybody knows about it. OGB, you down with OGB? I'm down with OGB. Donald J. Trump, your favorite president, and I'm here to tell you about Old Glory Bank, the premier bank for faith and freedom. You've heard me talk about how the big crooked banks debanked me and our beautiful First Lady following the rigged election of 2020. Thankfully, there's a bank that loves me as much as I love me, and you know that's a lot. Old Glory Bank. They don't debank Americans who love their country and honor the Constitution. That is right. This is Old Glory Bank. If you're down with OGB, you got to set up an Old Glory Bank account right now. You've heard me talk about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is America's best online bank that serves customers and small businesses in all 50 states. I'm a customer. My wife is a customer. They've got everything you need to bank online, including free accounts, free overdraft protection, early direct deposits, home loans, VA loans, and business loans. That is why Old Glory Bank grew from $10 million to over $225 million in deposits. Your money is your business. Open an account today in minutes. When I tell you minutes, I'm not saying that because that's what I'm supposed to be saying. I did it. We opened the account like this. They got everything right. There were no problems. And you know the best part? If we had a problem, you could, and Mike Green, the CEO, he even said this. Hey, if you got a problem, you can email him. He puts his email out there. You could talk to him. What other bank do you know that if you have an issue, you could just, email the CEO and be like, hey, I've got an issue. What are we doing to fix it? And they can help you fix it. This is a great bank. I really encourage you guys to set up an account there. Even if right off the bat, you don't want to worry about changing things and moving all this back and forth and it gets a little stressful, just open up an account at Old Glory Bank. And you'll feel yourself starting to get drawn towards wanting to actually bank with these guys. They're great people. So oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com. This is completely free. I'm not asking you to buy anything. Just set up an account with Old Glory Bank, right? Oldglorybank.com. It takes no time to get that account set up. You're going to love them. You're going to love knowing that you're banking with them. And they are going to love, obviously, having your business. So oldglorybank.com. Make an account today and take advantage of it. All right. I linked my Old Glory Bank account, our account to our PayPal now. I've got something. So we are
We're moving and grooving.
Moving and grooving and transitioning right into making them our primary bank. All right. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. By the way, one of the things that OGB is doing that nobody else is doing, and some of you guys don't like it, some of you guys love it, crypto. They are positioning themselves to be revolutionary in the crypto space. Get in while the getting's good. That's all I'm going to tell you. Get an account set up with Old Glory Bank. When they start moving when they have the OGB coin and they're, on and off ramps with crypto, it's just going to make things so different, especially for someone like me. I love crypto. So, again, they're forward thinking. They're not following some antiquated model. OGB, oldglorybank.com. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Here's a quick message from goldencrestmetals.com/LFA from the great Jeremy Harrell.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees. No pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Again, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Thank you, Jeremy and Golden Crest, for being a part of the show. You know, I'm going to honk Mo in a second. You know, I got yelled at over Mo yesterday on X.
Who?
I blocked this person. They were like, "Oh, you bring out a stuffed animal to excite your audience." Damn right we do. It's freaking Mo.
People love Mo.
We're honking a hedgehog. You honk your hedgehog to Jake Shields. Give me a break, okay?
Some people do hate Mo because their dogs get a little, and they have the headphones in, so all of a sudden it's like,
how dare?
in
How
their
dare?
ear.
How dare?
But
you hate Mo?
most
Does
people
this
love
look like
Mo.
a face worth hating?
No.
Okay, there you go. 800. Now let's get to 900, and you get Big Mo, and then we can give the finger to these people who think that it's ridiculous. We have a little fun. We're not allowed to have fun anymore. That's it. People are like, no, you can't honk it.
People take life too seriously.
Way too seriously. All right, let's move on to this story out of Los Angeles. This is a bad story. U.S. Marshal got shot. He's okay, from what I understand. But another attack on our brave men and women enforcing immigration law. Mexican illegal alien charged with assaulting federal officer after LA ICE vehicle ramming. This is the new thing. They're ramming their vehicles into these ICE officers because these people are out of their effing minds. They are out of their minds. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley announced yesterday, that federal prosecutors have filed charges against the Mexican national who was shot by federal agents in Los Angeles earlier this morning. According to Asaley, the suspect, an illegal alien with a sizable TikTok following, interesting, has been charged with assault on a federal officer after allegedly ramming multiple ICE vehicles and revving his engine when agents boxed him in. Officials said the man spun his tires, creating a cloud of smoke before one of the agents opened fire in what was described as an act of self-defense. If convicted, the suspect faces a maximum sentence of 8 years in federal prison. A U.S. Marshal, as well as an illegal immigrant, were both shot in an immigration and customs enforcement operation in Los Angeles, California. Both are expected to survive their injuries. According to Fox News' Bill Malugin, quote, a U.S. Marshal and a target alien were both shot in Los Angeles during an immigration enforcement operation. We're told federal agents boxed in a target, a ramming incident occurred. Feds fired weapons. The target alien was hit in the elbow and a U.S. Marshal was hit in the hand in what initially appears to be a possible ricochet. So this wasn't somebody shooting at an ICE officer, but this just shows you, or U.S. Marshal, this just shows you how dangerous this job is and the very tense atmosphere that these guys and gals operate in. The Mexican illegal alien now ramming his vehicle. Just how about this? Don't come into the country illegally. How's that sound? NBC4 Los Angeles reported that the shooting took place when U.S. Marshals and ICE went out to serve a warrant on East 20th Street near Washington Boulevard. The incident took place around 9 a.m. Tuesday morning. Last week, 2 Venezuelan illegal immigrants were arrested in Chicago for ramming Border Patrol with a vehicle. Another incident took place earlier in October after 2 other suspects were accused of ramming their vehicles into federal agents in the city. A judge released those suspects, Marimar Martinez and Anthony Ruiz. Why do these guys only have 2 names? That doesn't make it fun. Despite calling their actions extremely dangerous and extremely reckless, they've released them. So you have somebody who's been extremely dangerous and extremely reckless, but yeah, you go out on the street. Great idea. Chicago, Los Angeles, Portland, and other cities around the country have drawn national attention as Trump has also deployed the National Guard to assist in efforts to carry out immigration enforcement with ICE. Some of the cities have launched legal challenges to enforcing the law. It's kind of crappy, right? Isn't it? Look, I'm not sure if yesterday you saw Donald Trump's comments in the Rose Garden. It was pretty good. He'd been talking about, he had a meeting with the Senate Republicans yesterday in the Rose Garden. And the topic of illegal immigration, of course, came up because that's why the government is shut down, which, as Kevin Hassett said a couple of days ago, he believes that that's going to end soon, or that it could end this week. But I want you to think about the countless amount of lives that have been lost as a result of these the illegal aliens that are in our country. A lot of people have been killed. Okay, and it's not just the flashy, the flashy. Flashy is not the right word. The high profile deaths like Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungaray because they were young. But this goes all the way back to San Francisco. And say what you want about Bill O'Reilly. I'm not his biggest fan. I used to watch his show a lot. I read Pinheads and Patriots back when I was in college during my my transition from liberal to conservative. But say what you want about O'Reilly, but he had been pushing for this law for a long time, known as Kate's Law, in memory of Kate Steinle, who was just walking around San Francisco with her dad holding his hand, and she was shot in the head by an illegal alien. I don't know if this was a targeted attack on Steinle or if the alien picked up the gun and just decided to fire it because he thought it would be a fun thing to do. But Kate's Law was not passed. He's now asking, Donald Trump is now asking that Republicans in the House and the Senate make another effort to pass Kate's Law. Here's what that law would entail.
The one I'm going to ask you to vote for, and it's in the House now, and I hear it's doing well in the House, James. It's Kate's Law. A young lady named Kate Steinle, I remember it so well, probably 8 or 10 years ago now in San Francisco. She was holding hands with her father on the San Francisco pier, looking out into the water. This beautiful, everything was beautiful, but the person wasn't beautiful that did this. And this was an illegal alien that came into our country 5 times, was thrown out 4 or 5 times, I don't even know, but a lot, and came back and shot her through the head. And she went down and she looked at her father, Daddy, Daddy, something happened, and she immediately passed away in his arm. And, I mean, you can imagine, it was so sad, such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. Father was destroyed, virtually destroyed. And they passed they wanted to pass what they call Kate's Law, and it's now again in Congress, and I hear we're going to get it passed in Congress, and when it gets up to the Senate, I hope you guys can pass it. And basically, very simply, it says that if you're an illegal alien and you come in and you get thrown out, if you come back and get caught, you have to spend 10 years in jail. Very simple. Very simple. If they would have had that, Kate Steinle would be alive today. That was a big event at the time. If you remember, Bill O'Reilly, for those of you that like Bill, I think I like Bill, but he was the one, he devoted his life to that law, trying to get it passed. I think it's time that we pass it.
I think it's long past time that we get Kate's Law passed. And so I didn't know that they were going to be bringing that back up for a vote, but that came up yesterday in that Rose Garden event that Donald Trump had with the Senate Republicans. Now, speaking of the shutdown and Senate Republicans, and that was what a lot of the conversation revolved around yesterday, let me just explain something that's going on here with this shutdown. Okay, the philosophy that, hey, and if you want the price of something to go up, you know what the best thing to do is subsidize it, with government money, which is really your money. It's taxpayer money. And I can make it make sense like this, okay? Let's say you or a person, right? Okay. Let's say an individual, a landlord who owns one building with 50 apartment units in it. They're the exact same unit. There's no, they're all a 1-bedroom unit, right? So it's 50 1-bedroom units. They're all the same amount of square feet, 1,000 square feet, let's say. All right. And he's charging $700 a month on average. So $700 a month is the price for rent that everybody is paying to stay in that building. Mm-hmm. Let's say the government comes to that landlord, okay, and says, hey, we want to use 10 units in your apartment complex, in your apartment building, and we want to use that for housing people under affordable housing, right? So in other words, the government's going to pay for these people to stay in those units in that building, 10, right? So now the landlord has 40 regular folks who are not paying with government money and then 10 people who the government is paying to live there. The landlord's not out anything. But what if the government comes in and says, we're going to give you $1,000 a month, $1,000 a month for those 10 units, right? Well, what is the landlord going to do to the other 40 units? He's going to up that rent to $1,000. Why? Why? Because he knows that any of those 40 residents or tenants that get priced out, well, the government's just going to either someone's going to come in who's going to pay the $1,000, or they'll just wind up, getting affordable housing from the government, and he'll get $1,000 that way. If you want the cost of something to go up, you subsidize it. The government can subsidize it. Look at what happened with education. Okay, these tuitions have ballooned because these colleges know that it's not customers that they're going to price out of their institutions. These students that are going to school don't have $30,000 a year that they're going to pay for these yearly tuitions. Someone else is paying for it. The college gets paid up front. Then it's down between the relationship between the lender and the person who took out the loan. But again, government money flowing into those institutions. Now you have the cost of tuition going through the roof. You have the cost of housing going through the roof, because essentially what the government is doing is setting the floor of the market. Setting the floor of the market. That guy who owns the apartment building with 50 apartments, when the government pays $1,000 a month for 10 of them, that person's going to sit there and charge everybody $1,000 a month. Because one way or another, someone's going to pay it. Either the people are going to pay it, the tenants, or the government's going to step in and go, oh, you have a vacancy? Or we'll use that for affordable housing too, $1,000 a month. Look at healthcare, and that's my point. The Affordable Care Act has made healthcare more expensive. Period. And now they're trying to take $1.5 trillion and flush that and funnel that into these states that are offering illegal aliens health care. If you want the cost of something to skyrocket, the best thing to do, have government start buying it and subsidizing it. Every time. Every time. If you want the cost of a service to go and skyrocket and go through the roof, as soon as government starts subsidizing it with money that doesn't actually exist, that's not theirs, taxpayer money, every single time that will happen when government starts subsidizing things. All right. I have a story out of Idaho that I want to get to in a second. 100 illegals were arrested at a horse racing event. Very strange. But first, a word from our friends over at Armra Colostrum. It's tryarmor.com/LFA TV. I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity and my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. Well, that is Armra Colostrum. That's what they can do for you and more. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life and contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. And we stop getting our colostrum when we're babies. After we're babies, we're done. We don't get it anymore. Change that. Let's go. Armra Colostrum can help reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. It can help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism. And it can help fuel your fitness performance and recovery. Check it out at tryarmor.com/LFA TV. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV. Tryarmor.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV. 100 illegals at a horse racing event in Idaho were arrested by ICE.
Sounds like a joke.
It does, right? Ay! Secretaria, man! Oh, la policías! Arriba! Afuera. Get the hell out of my country. Could you please? Here we go. 100 illegals arrested in Idaho at a horse racing event. The DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin, explained that the ICE raid had dismantled an illegal horse racing, animal fighting, and gambling enterprise operation in Wilder, Idaho. According to the Idaho Capital Sun, McLaughlin added that 105 illegal aliens had been arrested. McLaughlin's statement comes as the Federal Bureau of Investigation previously announced 5 arrests of people linked to the alleged horse race gambling operation in Wilder called La Catedral Arena. Per the outlet, a spokesperson for the FBI explained that ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations Division helped process individuals who were found to have potential immigration violations. Leo Morales, who serves as the executive director for the American Civil Liberties Union of Idaho, criticized the Trump administration for having come in full force military style with helicopters and drones and arresting people. No person, no Idahoan, no American should ever accept whenever a government does this to its own people. These are illegal aliens. These are illegal aliens. The website Animals 24/7 reported that among the people who were arrested by the FBI for the alleged gambling offenses were property owner Ivan Tellez, who reportedly lives and grows watermelons with his father on the La Catedral Arena premises. Arrested by the FBI for the alleged gambling offenses were property owner Ivan Tellez, who, according to business listings, lives and grows watermelons with his father on the La Catedral premises, Samuel Bejarano and his wife Diana Fajardo, both Mexican citizens with current addresses in Nisa, Oregon, who are the alleged bookmakers, and Alejandro Estrada of Boole, Idaho. A 5th suspect in the gambling case, Cesar Orozco, an alleged betting courier, was arrested later in Meridian, Idaho. So there's what happened in Idaho. The ACLU is like, nobody should allow this to happen to Americans. They're not Americans. A lot of them aren't anyway. How about don't abuse animals and set up fighting rings and illegal horse racing and gambling, and that won't happen to you. How about, an easy way to make sure ICE doesn't come get you?
How?
Don't come into the country illegally.
You are frozen right now. I don't know if it's on our end or not.
Uh-oh. Is it? Oh, it's not here. Look, we're okay. So we should be all right. All right. Let's get to a word from our friends over at Silent. Face it, folks. Let's face it. Your phone is a tracking device between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals. They're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just go on and take down today. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, and no breadcrumbs. Same tech. This is the same tech used by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, it is available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint. Drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid. Completely silent. Invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbody, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com/Sean to get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. And as always, silence the chaos. Silence the chaos. That is silent.com, slnt.com. And that promo code is SHAWN. All right. That was an issue on our side. That was not an issue on Rumble's side, because the streams in other areas stopped
here now
soon. I'm not sure exactly.
It wasn't on our end.
It was.
Oh, it was on our end?
Yeah, because I looked on. I actually, is it? Let me see. I'm going to double check right now and see.
You said it wasn't a minute.
No, it's not. It's still streaming on other platforms. So that wasn't on our end. That was a Rumble issue. I'm sorry, guys. It didn't stop on there. So that was not us this time. It was us a few weeks ago, but it was not us this time. All right. John Brennan has been referred to the Department of Justice, making false statements, et cetera, et cetera. He may be in a little bit of trouble. And as I promised earlier this morning, I'm going to get back to New York City. Magamo.
Before you do that, yeah, they're yelling at you.
Don't yell at me. All right, here we go. We got a little squeak. And we got he's a tough guy to honk. There, that's the sweet spot. All right.
That's the sweet spot.
There are a lot of people right now, and I think some of it is paid and some of it is organic, who are trying to encourage Curtis Sliwa to drop out. I understand the idea behind it is you got to do whatever you can do to defeat Zoran Mamdani. I get it. But I've been telling you for months, okay? And I'm not saying it's because I like this. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm telling you the dynamic at play. Please understand what I'm doing here. Okay? When I said in June that Zoran Mamdani was going to win the mayor's seat, I was hoping that I was wrong. When I said in June that Zoran Mamdani was going to win the New York City mayoral election, I wasn't saying that because I liked it or because I supported Zoran Mamdani. Okay? That's not what I was doing at all. I was telling you that because I understand the dynamic of New York City. I lived on Long Island. I spent time in the city. I knew a lot of people in the city. I understood the dynamic of New York City. Okay? That's just the way it was. When I told you that Curtis Sliwa would never drop out of the race and never endorse Andrew Cuomo when the idea of a unity pledge was proposed, I wasn't telling you that because I agree with it or because I thought that was a good thing. I was telling you that because it was the truth. For everybody who's trying to get Curtis to drop out of the race, it ain't going to work. He's a stubborn guy. He's an Italian. He loves New York City. And he's not going to sit there and lay down to get behind Andrew Cuomo because people want him to. It's just not going to happen. So when I tell you these things, I'm not saying these things because I like it or because I'm rooting for it. I'm saying these things because this is how the dynamic of the city is. This is how the electorate is. This is how it works. There's a lot of things I don't know about, and I'll tell you that I don't know about them. The dynamics of how New York City works, I know a lot about that. Okay? Curtis is not going to drop out, and Cuomo is not going to win. And even if Cuomo did become the sole contender and challenger of Zoran Mamdani, the amount of people that are supporting Sliwa that would not vote for Cuomo would be far too large for it to make a difference. I think Zoran, I really do. I believe Zoran Mamdani, they say is 87% chance on Polymarket or something. I think those odds are too low. Jeremy Harrell up next. We're out to join the great Michael Patrick Leahy on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show at Michael P. Leahy on X. Check it out. Jeremy coming up next with Live from America. As President Trump says, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be on with Misfit later tonight, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern time, for a lot of fun with our buddy Zach, the Misfit Patriot. Always a fun time on Wednesdays, so catch us there. Until then, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Jeremy Harrell up next. Thank you for your attention to this matter.